It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 101.9, 100.5, 1450, WGNSSports.com, and Big G TV.
And this Coach's Show portion brought to you by Dr. Automotive, the cure for your car. Professional auto repair and maintenance from ASE certified mechanics and master mechanics. Check them out online at autorepairsmyrna.com. John Diggins here with you with getting the first round, and we've got Michael Voss, of course, here, the head coach of the Riverdale Warriors. And Michael, you had an interesting week. You had some close games last night, 2 overtimes. But what I saw out there was a lot of effort and a lot of guts, and they're playing hard.
No, we played well. We played well the last 2 games, especially this week. We've had a good week. We just hadn't quite been able to finish. We talked about in the Stewart's Creek game. When you look, we didn't score the first 5 minutes of the game. I think our first bucket came with 3:11 left in the first quarter. And we had really good shots in that game. We had really good shots, shot selection in that game overall. We had 18 assists on the night. It was the best night we've had sharing the basketball and just moving it and making offense simple. And at the end of the night, it came kind of down to that first 5-minute segment that we wanted back, where if we just score 1 or 2 of those, it changes the outlook of the game at the end. And then third or fourth quarter, I can't remember which one it was, Adam changed up he went to a 2-3 zone for a little bit, and we had 2 just bad possessions against it, and it kind of changed the momentum a little bit and put us down. And at the end of the day, if we have those few minutes back, it may be a little bit different ball game.
I've noticed, particularly last night, there is more. It seemed like they're very unselfish right now. They're playing, looking for the open guy. And have you all kind of worked on that at practice or something?
We worked on it all year. We've talked about our shot selection all year, and we have finally figured out a little bit that if we move the basketball, it's going to come back to you when it needs to come back to you. That's kind of how it always works. Like the ball knows where it needs to go. You just got to freaking get it there. And that's one of the things that early we struggled with a little bit. Lately here we've been a lot better at it. We're I don't know what our assist total was from last night. I hadn't looked at the stats yet, but I know that it was not bad. Like, we had a good night last night, and
it's an easy concept, isn't it?
It's easy to talk about. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to execute because you get all kinds of things that get in the way. You got to decision make. You've got to be willing to buy into that. Hey, like, you got to trust the process more than anything else. That, hey, it's going to get back to me.
Yeah.
And when you have a scoring mentality, sometimes it's hard to trust that it's going to get back to you. But here's the amazing thing: is to me, it always does. And that's what's made us have some. I mean, like I said, I think we played fairly well the last couple of games. We just haven't been able to finish a couple of things off.
The game last night, I thought it was really a well-coached game. I've mentioned that to you off the air, but when you and Coach Rigsby both, I mean, in a game like that where it's close and it's, the last minute of the game, a lot of crucial timeouts have to be taken, and things like when you might be losing possession, you call a timeout before you do. You two were masterful at that last night.
It's one of those things where we had some good possessions late, but sometimes you put yourselves in situations. We have a habit sometimes of getting a little too far to the sideline. And a little bit close to that midline, and so we'll make ourselves uncomfortable. So you just got to kind of always try to be aware. And I don't even remember what the situation was. I know I got one late last night that probably did end up saving a possession because I think we were in a little bit of trouble. And I'll be honest, I can't even remember what happened on the ensuing possession when we had it, but I do know we at least had an opportunity there, and that's all you can do is try and give yourselves opportunities in those situations.
Yeah, I remember the play because I really couldn't believe it and from where you called it from and where the ball actually was, it was pretty amazing, and it did save a possession. And in those kind of games, those are critical. Also, the foul situation is critical. Wayman West had a really good game last night. I thought he played really well. He got in foul trouble, and they finally fouled him out toward the end. But I've seen Wayman. That was the most consistent I've seen him. I think of all the years I've seen him play, and I think it's because he can light it up at times.
He can, and when you go back and look again, part of trying to get us. That's what I've talked with Wayman about a lot this year. Is early, especially, he was really trying to force things, and it like he was playing poorly at the time, and it was just because he was just trying to force it too much and not letting it come to him. And once he's kind of settled down a little bit, like I have not graded the shot selection yet from yesterday. I know this. Like when I go back and grade our shot selection from yesterday tomorrow, when I finally get to sit down and work on this game, our shot selection was good. And some of the reason why his shots are going in now is because he is taking much better shots than what he was earlier in the year. They're less contested, they're less forced, and it's just amazing how it goes in. And then it's kind of a shame last night the way he ends up fouling out of the game, because it's just, it is what it is, and there ain't nothing I can say about that. If I was in the SEC, I'd get fined. So.
Well,
just leave that alone.
And what's so bad, I hate it when a foul dictates game situations, and it could have very easily, not be called. I might get fined now, but
that's the thing, is just in that time and score situation, like in the second overtime, like that's just it. First of all, it wasn't a foul. Second of all, you don't call that.
Yeah.
Like you just don't, because you foul out a good player. You put Siegel on the line for 3 shots, and you can go back and watch the film and watch the clip. There is no contact. Like it's just one of those things where at the end of the day, guy made a call, and what we didn't respond to well is we had a couple of not great offensive possessions after that, and that really kind of put us behind a little bit. And
to be fair, I think Siegel had a couple. They had few bad calls on him.
No, it was all Michael. So it wasn't just that one.
I did want to talk. I was really impressed with how they moved the basketball last night. And again, there were some some lapses, but boy, they played hard. The defense was really. They have really responded, and I know it's not showing up necessarily in wins, but it could really be very, very important when we go down to district tournament coming up and the road ahead here.
Well, defense is going to travel, and we got to make sure that we're guarding. I thought last night, right before the Stewart's Creek game, I had some individual meetings with guys, and I challenged some guys a little bit. And one of the guys that I challenged to have way more ball pressure and kind of be a little bit more annoying on the ball was Dawson, and I thought Dawson did a really good job last night of being that guy that, even though he's a little bit undersized, like he forced a turnover either late in the fourth or in one of the overtimes, just kind of climbing into the Goring kid and made him mishandle it and fumble it out of bounds. And that's the kind of stuff that end of the day, I want Dawson to embrace a little bit more and be better. And he took that meeting. He didn't take it personal. Like, he stepped up to the challenge, and I thought he played pretty well. I thought he had one of his better defensive games last night.
The Braylon Burns is another one. He's been putting in some points for you too, and getting some big rebounds, and that's a part of improvement I see too overall in inside interior play.
No, it is. Like, Braylon has done a good job of. He can be a bad matchup for you basically anywhere that you put him. Here recently, it's been a little bit more. We put him out on the perimeter some and let him get going downhill, because he'll just put his shoulder down and kind of go, and he's been finishing better at the basket. He kind of hit a lull for a little bit, especially when we got back from that snow break. Like that messed with everybody's rhythm. But
right.
I felt like it kind of got him a little bit more than most guys, because he just wasn't finishing shots he'd been finishing. And then you look last night, like, he kind of gets back to being him. Against Stewart's Creek, he was kind of back to being him. And, it's amazing how when he plays well, we kind of play well as a team.
And you mentioned that, the snow break thing, if you were having momentum, that could really cut you quick. I mean, it can really take it away from you very quickly, and it's almost like you have to rebuild it back up again, or have a game or two under your belt again.
Well, I've always said this, like, it's the one thing when we had big district, when we had a big district, and even now, like, the one thing I've always talked about is basketball is a rhythm sport. Mm-hmm. You play Tuesday nights, you play Friday nights, like, you have that weekly routine of whatever it is. Like, it's practice Monday, play Tuesday, maybe heavy film, and a little kind of walkthrough Wednesday, practice Thursday, play Friday. Your routine's just built for the week. And that's one of the things where when you get out of that routine, it can throw you off some, or when you get out of routine, because that's the thing about kids is when you get out of routine, sometimes it makes it hard. My guys, I always worry about practice days when we're out of school, because after school, hey, they're going to show up and be there ready for practice. When you have days out of school, if we practice at 1, are they sleeping until 12 and then trying to get out of the bed and come in? Like, they're out of their routine, and so those days aren't always easy and always fun, but
that's a lot to be said for that, for sure.
That's why it's critical in this tournament. Like, when we talked about it, like, we're going to start the tournament we're going to play Saturday instead of Friday, which is not that huge of a deal. Mm-hmm. Saturday, and then Tuesday for us, Monday for the girls, and we'll be in a regular routine again, and this is pretty much how it'll be throughout the whole tournament.
Kind of wide open, I think. But anyway, the district tournament it should be great. You got a home game with Stewart's Creek on Tuesday?
We actually play Centennial here in about 3 hours.
Oh, okay.
So we're heading to Centennial to play our last JV game and play a varsity game right after that. It's kind of a make-up for when Hunters Lane bailed on us at Christmas.
Well, that's kind of good, though, to keep
it. Was. Centennial was supposed to play Hunters Lane, and we were supposed to play Hunters Lane in our Adidas shootout. So we just, I told Sloan, since we missed the game, like, we would come to him, and then we play Stewart's Creek for senior night on Tuesday, and that'll wrap up the regular season. And then we know we're playing Rockville on Saturday. I just don't know the time yet.
Michael, good talking to you, and good luck in the district tournament.
Thanks,
I think just throw it out there and throw the ball out there and see who comes out.
Thanks, John. I appreciate it, man.
That's Michael Voss, the head coach of the Riverdale Warriors. When we come back, we'll be talking to Smyrna coach Omar Smith here on Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, brought to you by Middle Tennessee Electric, serving our community by providing affordable, reliable, and safe electricity. Online at mte.com.